All right, everybody, welcome to the first episode of Intel Within Podcasts. Myself, Chris Burke, got my co-host
Yo, yo,
here,
yo,
Brandon Gresham. We had a little bit of a
what's
hiccup on
going
the
on?
first one, but
We did. It's all
thank
right.
God we had a good team that caught it. So now we're rolling. Yeah, a
We
little
did.
hiccup.
We're rolling.
So yeah, just a little bit about why we created a podcast channel is wanting to reach out and have a platform to talk through like how Brandon was saying last time. I'm just gonna call you Gresham. I'm just gonna call you Gresham. I don't like saying Brandon. It
Whatever.
just makes me feel
That's
weird,
cool,
right?
man.
All right. So we're just gonna say
All
Gresham.
right.
So we've been talking about it for a while. We'll fast forward a little bit, we'll talk about ourselves, but I'm getting medically retired, unfortunately, but fortunately. And wanted something to do for fun, talk to people, have a topic to top to have a topic to talk about with somebody else that is intellectual. So yeah,
Oh,
here we
thank you.
go. Yeah, of course. This, first episode. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. It's not just going to be straight military. It's not just going to be straight politics. This and that. We're going to cover everything. Him and I
And
both love
that's why it's going to be
sports,
awesome.
dude. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun. Um, and
Huge.
yeah,
Huge.
huge. So,
Huge.
yeah, let's just jump straight into it. And we have our social media platforms. We've
We
got
do.
Twitter, we've got YouTube, we got Instagram, we've got Facebook, and we'll have
Dude, yeah.
Spotify after.
Like,
So we're working on that.
yep. We
Go
are
ahead.
Spotify, hopefully Apple Podcasts, where,
Go.
anywhere you can get podcasts, and like you said, man, social media is all out there. Like Tupac said, hit them up.
Yes,
Get on
sir.
there, give us a follow, like, share,
Mhm.
follow, subscribe, all that stuff.
Turn on the
So, dude,
notifications so you guys know
that's
when we
right, dude.
post
Yeah,
stuff. All
you get
right.
that little ding
Yeah,
ding.
yeah.
We're
Turn on the
online.
notifications, comment, let us know, what you
Yeah,
like, what
man.
you don't
Show
like.
some
We don't
love.
really care about that. No, I'm just kidding. Let us
Show
know what
some love.
topics you want
No,
us to go over. So,
yes,
yeah,
for
let's just jump
sure.
straight into
Because
it, man. Let's go straight
absolutely
into you. Talk a little bit about yourself, brother.
cool, man. So for anybody that doesn't know, obviously I'm in the Air Force as well. I've been in since 2010. Spent security forces the whole time.
Mhm.
Security forces, for those that don't know, it's just another fancy way, the Air Force's way of saying military police.
Yeah.
Security specialist, law enforcement specialist, right?
Yep.
All around mouth breather, pretty much. But
Yeah, dude.
first duty station, Malmstrom Air Force Base, Frozen North. Anybody who's been to Malmstrom, FE, Minot, you know what it's all about.
Mhm.
That security, that dub rat life, and from Malmstrom, after nearly 8 years there, off to Germany, and was a part of the
Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
probably, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anybody that knows, right? If you have been to Volgaway, you know just how much of a unique mission the 569th is, and I absolutely loved every minute that I was there. And then from Germany, PCS to Travis, where got the opportunity to meet this handsome fellow,
Mm.
and yeah, man. So 13 years rocking and rolling, just hit 13 years in January. Yeah, man. As you know, military brat, moved around my whole life. My dad was in the Air Force for like 23 years, intel
Jeez.
analyst. Yeah, man. So we
Did it go by quick
Virginia,
for you?
Nebraska.
Did it go by quick?
I,
You're 13 years.
I'm 13 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
did
did
that
10
go by
more than
quick?
me. 13 years?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
it has. It's
crazy.
kind of nuts, man. When, you know, um, I hit those 8 years at Malmstrom, and like sometimes that felt
It's
like it drug on
wild.
forever,
Yeah.
But those 3 years that I was in Germany, they flew by probably because I was having fun and learning a lot, doing a lot of cool stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, man, it doesn't seem that long ago that I was rolling up to the 321st TRS and you know,
Were you nukes the whole time
enjoying
there?
boot camp. At Maelstrom? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
all
was.
8
It was a
years?
combination. I was at the same squadron, right? So for
Jeez.
anybody that doesn't know, there's multiple security forces squadrons at these bases. But I was part of the same squadron the whole time. I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to move around, but I did law enforcement and security when I was there. So gates, patrol, law enforcement desk, security down in the weapon storage area,
Mhm.
area supervisor. So I mean, anything that squadron did, I did. So I got the opportunity to do everything pretty much, minus being a flight chief when I was there.
Okay.
But I got the opportunity to be a flight chief when I was at Vogaway, and then again here at Travis. Had a couple of what we say back office jobs, but yeah, man, 13 years really has flown by,
Wow.
and it's just one of those things. It seems like a long time, but it doesn't really feel like it sometimes. So
Isn't it crazy? This is I'm just speaking about the years being in, but remember we went to um what was his the chief staff of the Air Force? Remember we went to that little kind of seminar thing?
General Brown, I
Yeah,
do.
and to find out that he is 2 years away from hitting 40 years in the military is,
Dude,
like, mind-blowing to me. Like,
I know, man,
how?
because
It's crazy.
dude, I'm 36.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
this
I
guy
know.
was in the Air Force
Pretty
when
much.
I was just a little squiggly squiggle moving around. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
yeah,
Yep.
the one thing that I'll never forget, not to jump off track from you, but the one thing that
Yeah,
I'll never forget for me for what he said was how he wanted to end bureaucracy. And I just kind of chuckled on
dude.
the inside, dude. It's just never going to happen, you know? And it's just,
It
it,
isn't,
yeah,
it's a great message though,
it is.
and it's accurate as hell. Because
Yeah.
that's what slows down a lot of things. Even at the tactical level, that you and I operate on 99% of the time, there's
Hmm.
red tape, and it
Yeah.
just gets in the way. But I honestly really like General Brown. I think his
I
message
think
is a
he's
good one.
intelligent. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, military brat, uh, Virginia, Nebraska, Japan, Germany, England, all kinds of cultures help shape who I am for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely, man. That's so what would you say is one of your most memorable trips in places that you visited and that you've seen? You know, just let's just go into that.
Memorable trip, Japan would have to be getting to climb Mount Fuji and then
That's
going to see the Great Buddha at Kamakura.
okay.
Um, yeah, man.
Dude, that's awesome.
We did a sunrise hike up to the top of
Oh
Mount
man.
Fuji
I bet
and
that
got to
was
watch the
incredible.
sun come up. It was, man. Um, it's a really unique climb because there's that dirt, those paths that you're walking on. It's mixed with a lot of volcanic ash, so it's slippery.
Oh wow.
But you get up there and yeah, there's a crater at the top, and we got to watch the sun come up. It was really cold, but I mean, it's pretty epic. And I actually had the opportunity to have some Japanese friends when I was there,
Okay, cool.
and got to see a lot of their culture, which I think is an incredible culture. I think I've told you this story before, but I had the opportunity to go to a youth center when I was there. One of my friends, I got to spend the night at his house, and he lived with his grandparents. Their grandparents lived with them, so
Mhm.
all these, the family hierarchy was there in the house. But the Japanese people have such a traditional, respectful culture. It's centric on duty, which obviously
Okay.
we can really attest to. But Ken, my friend, we got off the bus off base and went to a Japanese youth center. And the first thing he did was help the workers set up snacks for the little kids that were coming
Oh
there to
wow.
do homework and play. And then he knew and it was explaining to me like, hey, like I'm older and I have to take care of them because these are the kids in my neighborhood. And he helped with homework, and I didn't speak Japanese, so I couldn't help with homework, obviously, unless I wanted these kids to fail. But
Sure.
just played some mean dodgeball with these kids, and really that visit has really stuck with me my whole life because it just showed just how much they care about one another
How
and
old
that,
were
that
you?
sense of community. Eighth grade.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Grade.
that's
And
yeah.
yeah, and dude, how many eighth graders have you met or do you know that would be willing to just go after school to a youth center and take care of younger kids and not even be upset about it? Just say, this is my job. This is what I got to do because older people take care of me, and it's my job to take care of the younger generation. So,
Yeah, I don't know
but
any.
yeah, man, dude, I don't either.
Yeah,
That's I think
very select
that's a
few, and
big
if there is,
difference.
it's less than 3. So,
Right, dude. It's a big
yeah.
difference between our culture and theirs. But Germany, my favorite trip, probably wasn't even in Germany when my dad was stationed there. It was my a trip for school. We went to Italy and we got to go
Oh,
to
man.
Florence, which I know
Oof,
you love, dude.
dude.
Florence is amazing.
Christine and I were talking about Florence today. So for the viewers out
Really?
there, if I ever mention Christina, that's my wife. So she's also military as well. So she is this one right here. She's the army. So that's why we're up top right here.
That's dude. as it
Yes.
should be.
Yeah, so it's, man, Florence is fantastic, but go ahead. Yeah.
It is. No, man, that was my favorite trip. My favorite place to go when I was in Germany, like family trip we had would have probably been our trip
Mhm.
to Neuschwanstein, um, which
Say that
is the
again?
Neuschwanstein.
Alright.
Yeah, dude. So everybody knows the Disney Castle. So it's
Yep.
that really famous castle in Germany, the big white one
No
with the red
shit.
gate. Yeah, and, so
Never knew
that's what
that.
the Disney castle was kinda modeled after, but the
Okay.
crazy thing is it's not even like, when you think of a castle, you think knights, you think trebuchets, you think battering rams, like,
Sure,
so
yeah, yeah.
it's not even like a real castle like that, you know?
Oh, wow.
It never had to defend itself. It's only a couple of 100 years old. It's not like going to, like, Heidelberg, where you can see where,
Or
these,
like the
uh
Colosseum.
or the Colosseum, yeah,
Yeah.
something that is old and has it's
Yeah,
the battlements and all that stuff. So, but yeah, man, that definitely shaped who I was for sure and who I am, and I'm thankful for it. So, but
that's awesome.
yeah, bro, yeah,
What a
and
what a good time to
let's,
travel the world, experience.
yeah, man,
It's, as I got older, I started falling in love with more of, like, cultures from other places, and it's not to
hmm,
say that, like, I've been like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh, man, I'm so sick of what's going on in the United States right now," but it's like,
hmm,
I've been here my whole life, right? Just like most
right,
Americans, and I'm like, "Man, what's on the other side of this fence?" And, my first trip was, that random spontaneous, trip to Iceland that,
so
that
amazing,
Christina and I took. Oh my god, dude. Have you ever been there?
dude. I haven't, but it's bucket list for sure.
Dude, it's so awesome. It's so awesome. It's awesome.
I could tell by your face, man, and it looks like almost like a dark fairy tale, some of those like those black beaches,
Yeah.
and I just it's amazing. And
So,
I
do you
just
know what
want to
those
say real
black
quick,
beaches are, though? Do you know what those are?
is it sulfur?
So essentially, yeah, it's all lava rock. That's all it is.
It's amazing.
Dude, it's awesome.
It's beautiful. But I like what you said, man. Because not a lot of Americans would say what's on the other side of the fence, so to speak. And oddly enough, bro, when I got done, dude, look at you,
The places we
Reykjavik.
go, bro. This
It's right,
we'll talk to you about that one
right.
later.
Hell yeah. But when I went to college and was, kind of done traveling for a while until I joined the Air Force and
Mhm.
started telling the people that had lived in that area where I was in college their whole lives, like honestly, some of them thought I was just like some stuck up person for having traveled and talking about it,
Sure.
and it's
Yeah.
just so crazy how kind of close minded we can be as Americans. So I
Privileged.
applaud, right? I applaud you for wondering what was on the other side of the fence and
His
knowing.
Yeah, best thing I ever done, and it was, like, that little story there, like, kind of the caveat off that was I was
Mhm.
looking to go to Italy for my 30th birthday because 'cause I'm like, "Hey, I'm turning 30, let's do it
30-30.
big." Yeah, man, and
Right.
so, I was looking for I was God, I think it was, like, 9 months out from that or from my birthday.
Right. Right.
Random trip pops up and it's like, "Hey, let's go to Iceland," or, this is what Google, I use Google Flights, by the way, so if anybody wants to
Mhm.
get good deals in traveling, when you look at those prices, though, make sure, you are in incognito mode. I
Dude,
learned
no way.
this. Yeah, so I learned this, from a person that travels a
Ooh.
ton, and they said if you do it in incognito mode, it can't trace you and it doesn't track, right? So if you start looking at flights, it's like it's gonna show you like all the time. It's gonna be so expensive. So yeah,
So it's not storing the cookies from you
exactly.
looking and
So that's
searching.
that's what I
Ah,
did.
okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I never did that, but I was told that. So
Right.
that is something that I just now remembered. So I wish I would have done that. But anyways, so looking to go to Italy, this random trip pops up on the left hand side of the screen, and it's like, hey, let's go to Iceland, $400 round trip. I'm like, there's no way. And so I clicked on it, and
That's
it
incredible.
was yeah, it just said book your flight within 2
Right.
months and
Right.
literally round trip from DFW, Texas, straight to Iceland, straight flight. 7.5 hours there, $400 round trip. I was like, we're going.
OMG.
I texted
Bro, that's
Christina.
incredible.
It is so cheap. I couldn't believe it. And
It is cheap.
I'll never forget this. This is so funny. This is like when we first started dating. So we started dating the day after her birthday, okay? And then which is in
Oh, you're a
August.
present.
You know what I'm saying? And then we 2 months forward, right? You've got September, then you've got October. 2 months
Mhm.
after dating, I was like, "Hey, let's go to Iceland." First thing she responded back with was, um, "Obviously, I'm gonna go," because she never turns anything down. She's like,
Right.
"Obviously, I'm gonna go, but just don't kill me," because we never we didn't really know each other, dude.
Don't
So
bury me on a black beach somewhere, Chris.
yeah, yeah, don't roll me up into the Diamond Beach that they have there. Yes,
Oh,
$400
man.
round trip. The
Diamond
Airbnb,
Beach.
yeah, it's called Diamond Beach. So what it is, there's a I think it's an interstate, and it's like they call it the Golden Highway, and it's just
Okay.
one highway that goes around the whole island. Takes you about 24 hours to do if you go. I
Okay.
think it's 24 hours. I don't know. I could be wrong. If anybody out there listening, correct me. I don't know. But anyways, um, so $400 round trip. The Airbnb for 7 days was $100.
For
100 bucks,
7 days?
7 days. And
Dude, you couldn't even get a hotel for a night in the States for 100 bucks anymore.
not no,
Even
not
at, like,
even.
government rate.
Not for 7 days. Yeah, not a
You'd have
chance.
to share a bed with a hobo to get a rate at $100 a night.
Yeah, a hobo in San Francisco Bay where they push homelessness and give them a stipend every month. I mean, why not? They just give
It's
them
true,
cash.
you
That's how you
know?
get
Yeah,
drugs. So,
that's
uh,
right. That's
anyways,
right.
back to
Meth motel.
non-drugs. Yeah.
Back to non-drugs.
So $400 round trip, $100 Airbnb, $130 for the car rental, which by the way, in the States, it is called a Suzuki Samurai, and over in Iceland is called the Jimny, which I'm pretty sure you've heard of or seen.
Mm.
Looks
Yep.
just like a Suzuki Samurai. And dude, it's such a turd moment. They give you this sheet of paper and it's got um almost like a silhouette essentially of the car. The lady
Yeah.
goes, "Hey, go out there, look at the car, let me know if you see anything that's wrong with it. If there is, jot it down so that way you're not held responsible." I go out there, first time to Iceland, first time
Okay.
out of the country to like traveling like that. Um,
Yeah.
I look at the tires. There's 1,000 nails in all the tires. My dumbass was like, "Hey, I don't know what you guys
Is
ran
this a
over."
joke?
Yeah, and I was like, "I don't know what you guys ran over, but there's a bunch of nails in the tire." And the lady starts laughing. I was like, "I don't get it." And there's other people in there, right? It's a car rental place.
Right. Yeah.
She goes, "Well, those are snow tires because it's Iceland." And I was like, "I'm sorry."
Say less.
Yeah,
Say less.
I walked outside and I was like, "Okay, tires are good to go." Dude,
Check. Will
this
not bring up anything
dude,
else. Check.
I couldn't believe it. And this POS Suzuki or what is it? Something Jimny, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Um, it had 225,000 miles on it, dude. And
That's a lot of golden highway trips.
oh my god, I had to before my arm was destroyed, obviously. I had to double grab and slam it into every gear almost because
What?
I shit you not, dude. The synchros in the transmission were so bad. I literally had to throw it into first with both arms, and at that time,
Holy
um,
cow.
dude, I'm not, yeah, and I was like, dude, this is hard. I'm like, boom, and then you throw it into second, and then like third, fourth, and fifth were pretty juicy, but I was like, man, this is awful. And the out of all the places that I've been, which is not too much, but it is still a decent amount, I would definitely say Iceland was probably the most um beautiful as far as natural goes. I just couldn't believe it,
Right.
man. Everything that we did, everywhere we went was breathtaking. We didn't have a plan, no itinerary. We said we're gonna
Yeah,
fly there. It's the
that's
best
the
way
way
to
to do
go.
it.
I don't care what
It is.
anybody says. Like it's nice having an
I agree
itinerary,
with you
but come on.
100%.
Yeah, it was
100%.
God, we looked at what is it? We landed and freezing, obviously. We went in October. And
Yeah.
we get shuttled to the car rental place. So when you fly into Iceland, you fly into Keflavik, which is the sister
Mhm.
to Reykjavik. So
Okay.
Keflavik to Reykjavik is about a 45-minute drive. So on that 45-minute drive, the wife's going through Google, looking up things to do. We're finding stuff on the fly, which was the best thing we've ever done. And We went and saw like that chapel, like that cathedral. I don't know the name of
I
it.
know you're
Everybody, I mean,
yeah,
you pull
I've
up
got it in
Iceland,
my mind.
yeah, everybody knows
Yep.
that. Dude, incredible. What else
How was
happened,
the
man?
food?
Dude,
How
I'm
was the
not gonna lie,
food?
man. You may hate me here, but I'm just not a fan of like that European food yet.
Okay.
It's just like the UK food, right? You've got
It
your
is
beans,
different,
your
man.
meat. It's the same thing, and um, we just weren't used to it. And but
Mhm.
I would like to give it a try because I love toast.
Right.
I wouldn't mind having like, I,
Professional toast chef.
yeah, man, I wouldn't mind having the toast, like the grilled tomatoes that they eat.
Mhm.
I'll give the beans a try for breakfast. I haven't really done that yet, but it's 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 a very beautiful country. The nicest people we've ever met. I've only had one person in Iceland. I was on the highway one. I was like, oh, let
Mhm.
me turn around. I'm gonna do Yui. Let's go check out this. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm drawing a blank. What are those? You can jump off the side of the road and jump into them. They're like little saunas. What are they called? The little hot spot things, or
Oh, like the hot baths,
oh
hot
my god,
springs?
hot springs. You can just
Yeah.
drive off the side of the road and go jump into it, right? So
Wow.
yeah, dude, I flipped a Yui, and this local driving by just gives me the finger. Boo! Flips me off. And I thought to myself, like,
Oh,
dang, man,
no,
like,
man.
oh, you were 150 yards away from me. I didn't cut you off, but dude, he gave me the finger, bro. I
Oh,
laughed
dude.
so hard, but then, I just kept it pushing, man.
Then
But
you got in the hot spring and relaxed and forgot about it and,
it is I
like
don't know if you have you ever been in a hot spring?
I have,
Dude,
actually.
it's unique, man. It really is. It's
It is.
really cool to be in something like that. And yeah, so we drove and she paid for us to get into this like actual like hot spring, not the Blue Lagoon. We went to a different location.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And great time, dude. We saw a lot of cool things,
I wanna go.
took a lot of cool pictures. Um it was so cool. I want to go back so bad. And then the coolest thing about that is that we became really good friends with Hafthor Bjornsson and his I
Dude,
think it's
that's
his
incredible.
yeah, bro. I think it's his strength and conditioning coach at the time, but now like he's his videographer.
Okay.
And his name is Runnard. Um, super cool guy, nicest people I've ever met in my life. You open the door to the gym and they welcome you with open arms. You can taking pictures. It's like you've been one of the homies forever. Um, and one of the
That's
things
unique.
is so cool. One of the things I can't keep saying one of the things. Another thing, let's put it this way, was when yeah, our first son was
It
born. Um,
Uh-huh.
he was born on a Monday, just like how I was born on a Monday. I was
Mhm.
born at 8:33 p.m. He was born at 8:44 p.m., which is
Oh,
cool.
dude,
But
the next one.
my you already know what's coming. So my after he's born, you can do the skin to skin, and then afterwards, and they go do the circumcision, sorry. Then they give him a bath and wash him up. They bring him back, and he looks like this little hot potato. Um,
Right.
so after he's cleaned up, I call my parents because they're about an hour away. It was in Rockwall, Texas. My mom calls me. She's like, "Hey, there's a package at the house, and it's got your name on it." And I said, "Okay, what is it?" And she's like, "Well, I can't really see where it's from. Do you want me to open it?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I didn't have anything sent to the house." And so she
Right.
opens it up, and she said, "It's from Iceland." And I said, "Iceland?" She said, "Yeah." I was like, "Send me a picture." Dude, Hafthor Bjornsson, for everybody out there, Hafthor Bjornsson sent two of his Iceland strongman jerseys for my wife and
Dude,
I, and they just so happened to be there on the day my son was born. And he signed both of them, gave us each our own
that is
individual
so
message.
amazing.
Bro, like I get goosebumps talking about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't
It's
believe it.
incredible.
What other person out there, social
Yeah.
media famous, in Game of Thrones, world's strongest man, the whole nine. You meet them one
Yeah.
time, and then they do that deed for you like a year later is insane to me.
It is,
Crazy.
man. I think, dude, you know what though? Europeans in general, like you make friends with Europeans and they do treat you like family, man. Like, uh, one of my German friends, Dirk, I know I've talked to you about him before. Like, dude,
Whiskey?
took me in. No, dude, unfortunately, right? No. But no, dude, has taken me into his house, has had, his wife has cooked for me, brought me food. Like,
Uh-huh.
it's just your family, man.
All the
You
time,
are.
dude.
And again,
Every
dude,
time.
again, it's like that sense of community no matter where you're at,
Yep.
and that is probably one of the coolest things that I have found out about somebody, is just that, somebody like that has gone out of their way to welcome your child into the world that way. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely one of our best experiences of our lives in my opinion, besides obviously having our first kid, but
Yeah,
it was a great
that's awesome.
experience. Iceland was definitely one of my favorites. I would have to say Italy is definitely my second because I saw more cities in one country than I did like taking a cruise somewhere and getting off a port for 8 hours, which is I hate it, but it's cool. But Italy definitely has my heart, and
Okay.
we're trying to see what we could do, once I get out, to see if it's even possible going there, because I was reading online that you can't just move to another country just to move there. They've got
Yeah.
obviously their rules and guidelines. So, and for us to move there, we have to have a residency that we're actually going to be living in. So we have to have an
Hmm.
address set in stone, and we have to have a job. But with me getting medically retired, I wonder if that's going to kind of help us in a caveat for to kind of skate in. But um, and you can't, what is it? You can't get the like the primary residency card. So
Right.
you can get it. You can have it for like 10 years, right? You have to have it for 10 years before you become a permanent resident in Italy.
Right.
So you get like that little, it's almost like a visa per se, but you get like that little temporary card to be able to go over there. And
Yeah.
so once you do that and then you're there for 10 years, then you can finally get that primary residency card. You can become a citizen after I forgot how many years it was. It definitely takes a while. Um, but it's exciting to kind of look towards that, but I'm not gonna lie, man. We've been looking at homes, we've been looking at condos, we've been looking at whatever we can, and anywhere from as low as like 200,000 to as high as like 700,000-800,000, obviously USD. And
Yeah.
dude, they're the size of this room. It's very different.
Right.
Everything is small, everything is quaint.
It
Um,
is,
but
dude. Yeah.
I can't wait. I hope so. If not, I'm not gonna be upset, man. It's I and back to Iceland. I was just thinking about that because it's also small. Those places are
Right.
tiny, bro. Like your washer and dryers in the kitchen, which I'm not opposed to that. It is what it is. That's the different cultures. I'm totally cool for something new. But the one thing
On
that
top
I
stack too.
yeah, yeah,
One on top of
exactly.
the other.
And the one thing that I did not like about Iceland, and again, anybody out there listening, if you can tell me how correct this
We
is or
need it.
how not it is
Yeah.
the sulfur, because it the whole island is a rock, okay, obviously,
Right.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Volcanic
sulfur
rock.
is so strong. It's
Right.
in the shower pipes. So when you're taking a
Wow.
shower, you smell like rotten egg.
That rotten egg smell.
Dude, it's
That's pretty
awful. I
wild.
use like half a
That
bottle
would be
of
hard
body
getting used to,
wash.
bro.
It's
Right.
gross. It's gross.
So earlier when you asked me, had I ever been to a hot spring? So I've
Yeah.
been to two, like natural hot springs.
Okay.
First one I went to was in Nagano in Japan.
Did not know
Those
they had those.
They do. So you ever seen like those snow monkeys that get the faces that are really, really
Yes.
red?
Yes.
They're sitting in the hot springs. That's in
Oh,
Nagano
wow.
in Japan, which is also where they had the Olympics. Like I think '98, right? We need a Jamie. Let's pull that shit up, Jamie.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
year was the Winter Olympics in Nagano?
Here, you
But
keep
and then
talking. I'm gonna look it
again,
up.
word in Saint Lucia in the West Indies. So
Okay.
there's a town in Saint Lucia called Soufriere, which is like a weird, well, I don't want to say weird, but like a derivation of the word sulfur, but like in
Mhm.
French, or maybe the dialect of kind of French that they speak there.
98.
Bro, I was right.
You're
Holy
right.
cow. But
Yep.
so Soufriere, it smells like sulfur. It's named sulfur, but that's
Oh,
the hot
okay.
springs I've been to. And
Okay.
they have like this like legend that if you're a guy and you're infertile or impotent or whatever, if you go sit in the hot springs, apparently you just have all kinds of babies. But that's not why I was there.
Hmm,
Just want to say,
interessante.
but interesante. But but again, the hot springs there in St. Lucia, they had a very heavy sulfur smell, but not the one in Nagano. So I don't
Okay.
know. Because like obviously Japan is known for volcanoes, right? We already talked
Mm,
about a Japanese volcano. We talked about Mount
yeah.
Fuji.
Do you think that's
But it
because
didn't have that.
we showed them the
Mhm.
sun 2 times or no?
Drop the sun on them twice. No, I mean
Ah.
they're the land of the rising sun, you
Yeah,
know. But no, but hot springs at Nagano didn't have that sulfur smell like the ones in St. Lucia did. So I don't
it
know
was
what the
awful,
difference
bro.
is.
It was
Yeah,
awful.
it is. It's a rough smell, man. It's
It
just
is
like
harsh.
it smells like somebody hid an Easter egg and then we found it in July. You know, it's like holy crap.
Midsummer.
Dude, yeah. You're just like you come downstairs in the morning, you're like,
Yep.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
is. But yeah, no. That when as I lived on the economy when I was in Germany
Okay.
and you know, so I agree with you, dude. Like everything is smaller. The rooms are smaller. The master bedroom, like what you're used to in the United States, is this big room you can walk around. It's not like that, and
Yep.
it's not bad. It's just different. You know what I mean?
And the
A
structures
lot
are so different. Everything is like
they are,
legit, like cement, thick rock. You don't
dude.
find this like stucco BS, you know?
No, and here's the biggest thing that for me was hard in Germany was there's no air conditioning. And I know there's such a first world problem, and
No
it's such
shot.
a stupid thing to bitch about, but like, because you could buy like a portable air conditioner, but
Mhm.
bro, especially when you're kitted up in the summer and you're like doing a case in the building and you're like trying to not just die of dehydration because you're
Right.
sweating. I literally would just go sit in the patrol car and crank the AC, you know, but having no air conditioning was kind of shitty, especially if you're trying to fall asleep at night. And it gets pretty hot in Germany,
Dude.
man. It's hot, it's
Colorado's the
humid.
same way. No AC units, bro.
In Colorado,
Bro, we went
you just
to
said?
yeah, dude, we
What?
went to Keystone. So, if you go to Denver, so for you it might be I might have to go this way, but you fly into like Denver and then you take the
Uh-huh.
highway this way. Takes you to like Keystone, takes you
Oh,
to
that way.
Dillon, takes you to
Yeah.
like all the like popular places and man, just because the altitude's so high, I think we went to Evergreen, and Evergreen may have
Okay.
been 72 to 7,700 elevation, and nobody has heaters, nobody has AC units because it's just nice all the
Whoa.
time. That is the first time that I've been at such a high altitude. We went to an altitude, I think it's in Breckenridge. We got the little
Okay.
coffee mug. Breckenridge was I
Obligatory.
12.9. It was so high, but the whole time that
Wow.
we stayed there, we were there for 7 days. Um, I had to take, oxygen pills every single day, nosebleeds all the time.
Oxygen pills?
Oxygen pills, dude. So they called
Huh.
them oxygen pills. Let me back up. So they called them like oxygen pills. You can buy them at the gas stations, but it was essentially like a bunch of vitamins per se.
Okay.
I think that's what they were like labeled as, and I had to take them every single day. Nosebleeds all the time, like crusty
Right.
nose, dude. It was awful. And
Right.
the Airbnb that we stayed at I counted the steps from the bottom up. It was 15 steps. Just walking
Okay.
up normal, out of breath, just gassed like I just
Holy
ran
cow, dude.
like I ran 3 miles in under 20 minutes. I was gassed. And
Yeah.
dude, it was awful.
That just makes me think about those people that like climb Everest or K2 or like those massive
Absolutely
mountains.
nuts.
You know, dude, it is nuts, man. And I don't know if you've ever watched any documentaries about people that have done that,
I
but
have
like the altitude sickness, dude, and
I
then
had that
like
in Arizona.
you had altitude sickness,
Yeah, I was
dude.
like
What was that? What
I
was that
was
like?
To be honest with you, it was awful. It was a raging headache all the
Dude,
time.
I just,
I got sick to the
oh man,
stomach. In Arizona, I lived in like Phoenix, Glendale area, and then we went up
yeah,
to it's called Heber. So we went up into the mountains to get a Christmas
hmm
tree, and
yeah.
then we were there for 2 days, and then we came back down, obviously, and boom, just going up, and then coming down really quick after that, like the altitude change. I had altitude sickness. It was awful.
Damn.
Yeah. Yep.
I've never had that, but I mean,
It's a
just
it
learning about
goes.
just having to acclimate yourself to climb something like that, and then
Mhm.
go putting your body through that, like
Yeah.
that's pretty nuts, dude. It
Yeah,
is
it's wild. Man, it's definitely seems like we have been into some interesting places, and then, um,
absolutely
of course, we're still not done. Like, we're still gonna travel and stuff like that. I know you guys are still gonna do your
100%.
thing, so
Yep.
it's awesome.
Yeah, man.
What a cool story.
It is. Honestly, I think I'm not done with Italy for sure.
There we go.
Because as much of a history lover as I am, I've never been to Rome. I have to go to Rome. If I go,
What?
dude, I know if I go nowhere else around the world before I'm dead, it has to be Rome. And then
So,
like
hold on a
Greece,
second. Have you been to the
hmm
Colosseum?
dude, I've never been. No, I've never been. So here's why I've been in Italy.
Wow.
I've been Florence, Pisa, Siena, and Ravenna.
Okay, so I've been to 2 of those. I haven't been to the other
hmm
ones. So you've
Yeah.
never been to Milan or Venice?
I haven't. You know who has though? My
Wow,
wife when she
incredible.
was
Okay.
stationed there. Yeah.
Was she at Aviano?
But she was.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
I want to, man, and like I had all kinds of plans to go do that when I was in
I'm
Germany.
sure,
But
yeah.
then COVID hit and couldn't do any of it, bro.
No.
Yeah, man. And dude, like the year I had to do that, I was deployed, and so it
Oh,
just, yeah,
shoot.
man. It is what it is, but I'm going back for sure. And then I want to go to Greece. I haven't been to Greece yet. And there's
Yep,
all
yep.
kinds of places I'd like to go in the Middle East, but I don't know if I ever will. Just
Man,
obviously kind of
I
dangerous, but and then Egypt,
I
Egypt
would
for
like to
sure. I want to go to Egypt.
I would like to go to Egypt. My wife wants to go to Asia so bad, which we're kinda, like,
Anywhere
looking at
specifically?
trips. Man, great question. She really, 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 really wants to go to Thailand. Um,
Okay.
sh
Okay.
the reason why she wants to go to Thailand so bad, yeah, I wanna say Thailand, and I think there's another country in there somewhere, but she just wants to go experience the natural culture and feed elephants and hang out with elephants, do
Dude,
the
just
whole
the
9.
live, laugh, love thing, eat,
Yes.
pray, love. Just
Yeah,
go do it, man.
yeah.
Just
It's, I think we're gonna end up going to Greece first,
mhm.
and, that'll probably be Christmas time this year, maybe. We might go to Greece, or we're gonna go back to Rome because we love it so much, and we're just
That'd be
gonna
pretty cool
country
to go to at
yeah,
Christmas time.
dude, I can't wait. I went there like, my birthday was in May, so I went there during May, so we might go to Italy Christmas time and then kinda country hop up north for, like, 9 days, um,
Yeah,
and then call it a wrap, so
that sounds great.
I can't wait to travel, man, but, so that's just a little bit about us. A lot about us, a lot, a little bit, a
A
lot,
lot
but
about us.
yeah, it's
Uh, and you'll get to learn a lot more for sure,
yeah,
organically,
it is
you know?
awesome to see, who we are. Um, again, like why we created this podcast. And so now, kind of going into it, what's what is something that you've seen, here in California lately that is just kind of, kind of crazy, even though California's always got something ridiculous going on, because that's where we're stationed at
Yeah,
right now. We're stationed here in California. Um, so, just to kind of talk um, a little bit about, what goes on over here in California that may or may not hit like mainstream media, but that also happens on a regular basis and that is very, very real. So what is
yeah.
something that you've seen lately?
Man, I mean, you know where I live, and,
Yep.
I live closer to the Sacramento area.
Yep.
But dude, oh, perfect story. Okay. So, on Friday, we, when I say we, I mean me and people from work. We had to go
Mm.
downtown Fairfield, okay? And, the guy I work with, John, driving his truck, and this dude just runs right out in front of him, and like
Love it.
on just this
There you go.
pedestrian, high as a kite, pulls his hood up, like cinches it around his face, and just starts swinging in the air, dude. And but and we're just sitting there talking and watching this. Of course, he slams on his brakes, and he's
Yep.
like, "Dude, what the hell?" And the guy runs onto the sidewalk, so John just kind of like accelerates really quick to get, away
Yep.
from that guy. But then you look around and it's just like we maybe went up a block and cut a right to go like down back towards base. And
Mhm.
he almost hit a homeless encampment that was on the sidewalk, but was so big it was had eaten up the sidewalk. It was like kind of into the street on the corner, just like part of a tent.
It's so
And dude,
bad,
that's
man.
everywhere, man. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. And
It
it's
really
not even
does suck.
yeah, and it's not even just like, dude, for Mother's Day, we went to Oracle Park. Me and Demi, we
Oh,
went,
yeah.
we took her
We
mom.
saw
Yeah,
y'all.
and we were
Yep.
both at that game.
Yep.
But we get off the highway just into San Francisco, and obviously, like where Oracle is in a nicer part of San Francisco. It's right on the
Yep.
water, But we get off the highway, the exit, go right down at the stop sign, and right there in the corner is just first off mounds of trash. Okay, and then somebody just asleep in the grass right there, at this crazy intersection, and you look around and it's everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And it's not even like I'm sitting here and I'm not even trying to be like condescending, because you honestly kind of feel bad for the fact that these people live like that. But
Yep.
it's just like, dude, it almost feels like no one wants to try and fix the problem, and
Yeah,
that's what's so kind of
it's
heartbreaking
it's
to me.
different when like, so people know, like, people that don't live in California, right? What's the first thing that comes to their head? Like, "Oh, screw California, blah, 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 blah," right?
Right.
California is beautiful. I personally
It
think it's a
is, man.
beautiful state. There's so many things to do all the time. Great food, great drinks, great like lifestyle. You could be somewhere, away from the city, but then hop on a highway and then boom, you're good to go, right? Of
You
course,
could go to the beach, the mountains, and
yep.
the desert in the same day, man.
Literally within an 8 hour
Yeah.
span, like all that, right? But
Yeah.
it's, you see the homelessness out there, you know, homeless veterans or not, but like you see it out there, right? Everybody knows, like, oh, California's this, Venice Beach is trash, blah blah. Yes, it is over there. It's very bad. But the homelessness, like you're touching base on, like nobody essentially wants to fix the problem. Man, it's awful. And of course it's only getting worse. And then to find out a couple months ago, maybe, I mean, I could be wrong, but I found out that the city, San Francisco, pays people to be homeless. So what does
They
that
do.
show? What does that show you and show other people out there? Like, hey, how is that actually helping homeless people when you're kind of showing them, like, hey, stay homeless. We'll pay you 600 and some odd dollars cash, give you
Mhm.
$200 in food stamps. Cool. I'm homeless. Probably a freaking addict. I'm gonna take that cash and go buy drugs. I don't have a home. I don't have,
No,
and
dude.
they give them a cell phone
It
bill. It's like that
it
Obama
almost
thing. Like, dude, it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
the Obama phones.
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
yeah, it almost well, not even almost, it does. It incentivizes homelessness, right?
Incentivize, that's the word I'm
Um,
looking for.
yep.
Yep.
And maybe we can talk more at large about this, on a podcast, and because honestly, this topic deserves its own podcast, right? Own
It does,
episode.
man. It
But
needs help.
I know there's a book I recently read. The guy who wrote it, his name is Michael Schellenberger. But
Okay.
the book is called San Francisco. And if anybody out there listening has never read it, I highly encourage you to read it, right?
What a title.
It's eye opening. And I know I've told you this before, but I'm gonna mention this statistic because it's a very weird and obscure statistic, but it,
Mhm.
it encompasses this problem perfectly. Okay. So the city of San Francisco in 2020 paid to replace, I want to say it was 5 light posts,
Keep going, you're good.
5 light posts.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, my computer did something weird.
Yeah.
So in 2020, San Francisco paid to replace 5 light posts
Just 5.
because they had 5 of them, right? But and I know that's not a big number, but when you hear why, okay, they had fallen over because they had been peed on so much that the urine had corroded the bases of these light posts that they had fallen over. Which is insane, dude. And
Wow.
it's homelessness that has caused that because they're peeing on someone peed on this light post. So many people had it, it fell over, and caused damage and had to be paid to be replaced. But that to me, the fact that like something got peed on so much that it
And
fell
5 of
over
them.
is 5 of them. Yeah, is
S
nuts. But,
God,
I encourage anybody who wants to read that book because one of the things he talks about a lot is the homeless problem and how,
okay.
there are models, again, like in Europe, talks a lot about Portugal, Sweden, these places that have had homeless problems and deal with them.
Mhm.
Talk about housing first, paying people to, or incentivizing jobs, stuff like that. And there's models that work in the United States isn't interested in doing that because these people that are in charge of fixing homelessness, it's lucrative, you
Man,
know?
I don't wanna go down a rabbit hole with what I'm about to say. We can talk about this on another podcast or another episode,
Mhm,
but the one thing that blows my mind right now that's been going on for a year is
mhm.
the war in Ukraine. How are we going to send billions of dollars
With a
to
B.
yeah, to proxy war a country that isn't even in NATO? It's none of our business. But like I said, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm pretty sure that if we were to have that money, put it towards homeless people or like trying to help resolve world hunger, I'm pretty sure we'd have a very good leg in that race. But like I said, that's another
Yeah, the
podcast. It's
right. That money, you're right. It could go to trying to solve the homeless problem. It could go to trying to solve infrastructure problems we have in
dude,
the country.
it's crazy.
Education. I think it's something like 2 years ago, 66%, and this, or I shouldn't say 2 years ago, prior to COVID, right? The year
Mhm.
prior to COVID, there was a survey done, and 66% of American eighth graders were considered to be not proficient in mathematics. Okay, and then 70% were deemed not proficient in reading. And these are eighth graders. Okay,
Wow.
now you throw on top of that 2 years of COVID lockdowns,
True.
and just think how far behind those kids coming up are, right? And how much, you know, just the education system and what, dude, not even to mention just how much teachers deserve more than they get.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
just to drive that point home, man, there's so much better uses in our country, I think, to put that
Crazy.
money toward.
Yeah.
But again, that I think that whole topic deserves its own episode. But
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
I
one.
think that's a great way to just kind of like wet our feet and show other people, that are listening to us, like these are the kinds of things that you and I are interested in.
These are
And at
real
the end of the
problems.
day, right, we love our country,
Yep.
right? And we
Right there,
just want to
baby.
see right there. We just want to see, America be great, and not trying to, oh, make America great again. That's not what I'm saying when I say America be great. But I'm saying like we care. We want to talk about these problems. We want to
Yeah.
talk about them on a platform like this, and hopefully other people are listening. And if you're listening, you feel the same way.
Yep.
In the biggest way, in the best way, I feel like we're as a group of people, Americans, we're so unique and different at the same time,
Mhm.
right? Uh, that's how we're gonna fix these problems, is
Dude,
talking about them.
we need our warriors back, man. Like that thing, like, we could talk about it too. On a deeper note, next time is that men's retreat that I went to in LA for
Mhm,
spiritual warfare. Dude,
mhm,
it's being like how when you message me and you're like, man, I bet you it feels good to be around like-minded individuals that all
right,
have the same mindset to
yeah.
take this bubble off these like warriors in this sense, these men that are afraid to speak up or silenced, like it's like, you know uh, we do need that, we need it
You
back,
you
you know.
you we do, man, and you should touch on that real fast, I think, before we do close up. I think you should touch
Okay.
on that retreat a little bit, because it is that let's go full circle real quick, right? So
Hey
that
man, we
sense
got
of
nothing but
community
time.
that we
Hmm.
do, that sense of community we talked about,
Yeah.
and I was talking about how, the Japanese culture is so centric on duty,
Yeah.
respect, tradition, right?
Hmm.
There people like to there's I feel like there's this almost like self-loathing that as a country we've gone through the past
Mhm.
several years, like it's almost not okay to love your country, right? And kind of cast off what it means to be American
Yep.
and get dude 100% our country is not without problems, okay?
Yeah.
But that sense of duty, respect, and culture that the Japanese have, I think that that's something we could adopt and should adopt here in the United States. And I say that because a lot of this stuff that goes on where people act like things don't matter, the value systems we say we want to have in the United States,
Mhm.
it's nihilistic. I mean, you know what I mean? Oh, it doesn't matter. It's not important. Those that causes problems, and I feel like that's become a culture. This self-loathing, nihilistic
Participation
issues.
trophies.
Right, participation trophies, sure, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like talking about these issues, having a community that cares about it, like that's what's going to hopefully turn us around. And but I think that you should talk a little bit about that retreat you went to because I
Yeah,
think it's
it's,
important.
um, first and foremost, I like kind of before like getting into this real quick, I do want to say and give a shout out to my wife because before I met her, I don't talk to be honest with you, man. I don't talk about it with anybody. I mean, not even my wife sometimes. But I have been getting better about it. But there are times that, I just put a facade on, I smile, "Hey, how you doing?" You know? Like everyone asks me, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, how you doing?" "I'm good, I'm good, I'm good." And then, at one point in my life before I met her, it was like a dark area, was going down kind of like a dark path, but no drugs or, not doing anything like
Yeah,
stupid like
just
that, not
your mental
drinking.
health.
Dude,
Your
just
mental health.
the mental part of it, it was just going down a bad spiral. And when I met her, she never pushed it. She just asked me like, "Hey, I'm going to go to church. Do you want to come?" And I hadn't been to church, god, maybe since like middle school. And
Same, honestly.
yeah, and it's just one of those things to where like after I met her, I was uncomfortable, but I still did it, you know.
Mhm.
I was like, I've always believed in God, and I do believe that he is the higher power, and we're Christian.
Right,
Um,
right.
so going to that changed everything, right? I haven't been the best though because we've been together since 2018. So my progression with going to church has kind of been like this, and I feel bad too because we're a team, right? Her and I are a team, and we're a partnership, and so
Of
if
course.
I don't go, I know it's like eating at her to where she probably is like, "Okay, I don't wanna go because he doesn't wanna go." But
Yeah,
it never was like I never said I didn't want to. It just came up to like, we found something different to do, or like, I if I didn't say I wanted to go, which I think is what she was looking for. So, that is definitely something that I have fixed recently since moving out here. But um to come back, um very much so believe in God. It has changed my life a lot in the past year that I've been here.
right.
Excuse me. But yeah, so I went to this little retreat thing. A very, very, very good friend of mine, former Navy SEAL, I believe, of 16 years, 4 years in the Marines. His name is Eddie Penny. You can find him across all social media platforms.
Great
Went to
American.
this. Oh man, absolute warrior. And Yeah, it was a great
Great
thing. It was
American.
called the Kingdom's Men Gathering, so KMG. And where was it? It was in California. It was in LA. The stigma of California being like such a blue state and whatever the case may be, going to that was also
Yeah,
eye-opening to be like, wow, California isn't like this, but the social media of certain platforms push it that way to
yeah,
where like it makes it like they're the devil. And dude, they're not. Like being there
dude,
around those guys, it was a freaking free event. I told the wife,
dude. If
she
if I
immediately
could
go ahead. Yeah, go, 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 go.
say if I could to use a military term, if I could piggyback on that real fast, right? What you just
Yeah.
said, man. My wife is from California, right?
Mhm.
So, and my only experience of California up until I moved here was my wife, okay?
Sure.
And dude, my wife's an amazing person. She's not what the media portrays Californians to be like, you
Yep.
know? And then I get here and obviously I have all these
Expectations.
not expectations. Right, sure, yeah,
Well,
right.
I guess
Let's call them
essentially.
expectations.
Yeah.
It's these preconceptions. That's the better word. These preconceptions of what I'm going to experience, right? And dude, meeting her family and then meeting other people that live here, you really do see, like you said, like those those pockets of that kind of stuff that exists on social media
Mhm.
exists, right?
Yep.
And it exists in specific places. But dude, California, aside from like you said, being a beautiful state, is full of Americans that love their country, and
110%.
and they love their state, they love their country, right? As my
Yep.
brother likes to say, that they're California supremacists. Because I mean, it's a
Sure.
beautiful state and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful place to be in, and
Yeah.
but it is, it gets a bad rap, but it's not all of it is deserved or true for sure.
Yeah. That's what it is, man. It's just like those certain platforms and they go that route and they push it. Granted, there are some people that may feel different. They're like, oh, I just want to get out of California. Okay, sure, fine. That do what you want to do. Be happy, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
do what makes you happy. Um, I if we end up staying in California, I don't think it'll ever change, but I hope they cut their taxes in half. But other than that,
Yeah.
being at that men's retreat a was a much needed thing. And as soon as I told my wife, she was like 100% yes. And I'm sitting here like, man, like I can't take the kids to this thing. I'm like, God, what's gonna happen? Because it's from 9 to 3. We ended up running it until 4 o'clock. And she just straight up
Mhm.
told me, this is how awesome having a great partner is, of course, is she said,
Right.
don't worry, I'll just take the kids, go do this. I said, okay,
Mhm.
awesome. Stress free in being there, um, was just awesome to, like I said earlier, to be around like-minded individuals, to be around men, to be around warriors, to tell everybody in there to like, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to want to follow and, chase God or, whatever the case you may believe in as far as your religion, right? There's a higher power
Mhm.
for everybody. And and just hearing I think it was like 5 or 6 individuals speak. Ended up meeting also Daryl Strawberry, which was a MLB All-Star.
Yeah.
I didn't
Know
know
who that
that
is.
until I showed my
Yep.
wife, and she is a huge fan of him. So got a picture with him, or she did. Um, but yeah, listen to everybody speak, their testimonies, where they came from, what they went through, and where they're at now, and where they're going. It's just eye-opening. And to for me coming into this, because it is new for me to like not be so naive about things.
Mhm.
I'm about to be 34, man. And I'm not like that person, but I'm just saying like I like to have an open mind, and being there was probably one of the greatest couple days that I've done in a while for spiritual warfare, because it's real. And
Agreed.
it was great, eye opening. And I was like, man, um like this stuff right here just goes to show you that how many people that in this state believe in God, positive mindset, you know
Mhm.
just where they came from. It was good, it was great, I loved it. I would do it again 110%, no questions asked.
Yeah, man. No, that's a great experiences, and like you said, it's awesome to be around like-minded people. It's
Yep.
encouraging
Yep.
to see that there are other people, because I think that other people that think that way and believe that way. Because I think the media just kind of portrays a lot of doom and gloom, man, and
It's
it can make
cancer,
you feel
bro.
alone. It can make you feel alone in
Yep.
certain beliefs and certain lifestyle decisions.
Yep.
But you get out there and you meet people, and we talked about a community in Europe, but we have a great community here in the United States as well. And
Yep.
it's good to
They're
walk
just
away from
silence. They're
what. It
You
is.
know, like,
There isn't, yeah. And it's good to walk away from what the media portrays it to be and
mhm.
go out there and meet people, and you realize just like how not alone you really are, and that there's a lot of, Americans out there that are still proud to be Americans and believe in what this country says it believes in. You know, it's encouraging at the very least,
Yeah, it's
and
great. And with I just saw this the other day. I think it was to do another plug out there is the Sean Ryan show. Absolutely love
Mhm.
that guy. That guy's is another warrior, true American. And he said in one of his podcasts that I was watching that how the military is going, which we'll talk about this later.
Oh
He
yeah.
said for every bad leader, there's a good one coming in its place. So, you know, like we were talking earlier, the bureaucracy in the military, there's leadership in certain, units, squadrons, whatever, are not the best, but just if you can kind of hang on, eventually they'll get replaced, right? But
Yeah, man.
yeah, I hope this next election is one for people to really kind of think about. And I'm not going to talk
I'm
about all this other negative voting BS and the stolen votes, but I hope this one is like a very true eye-opening thing for people. Like, look what has happened this presidency. Like nothing positive has come from it, but I don't want to get into that. So
No, I look
yeah,
forward to the conversations you and I will have the closer we get to
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Like you said, the elections. I know we'll talk about it. You and I are both interested in politics, and at the end of the day, most interested in, um, seeing our country be the awesome place that it is.
Just
So,
Patriots, man.
but
You
yeah,
know,
man, a couple of Patriots, bro.
yeah.
Just
For
Mel Gibson out there in the South Carolina wilderness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, but no, man. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
I look forward
It's
to all the conversations you and I will have. I look forward to what people have to say, the things they want to hear you and I
yeah.
talk about, because this
Comments,
isn't
guys.
just for you and me. This isn't just for you and me,
Yeah.
man. We want to reach people and we want to hear what people have to say. We want to hear what you want to hear. We want to hear what you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And I'll put it this way, man. Express your opinion. We want to hear it. We'll express it back, whatever
Yeah.
that means,
It's
And
yeah. It's gonna be a good time, and here that you guys see behind me, I'm slowly in the process of putting in like a little podcast studio in here.
I
Just
promise I'm
be
not in a prison cell.
yeah. Not in tech school. Um,
No.
so it's yeah, it'll be a good time. And so before we go, because I didn't do this at the
Mhm.
beginning of the episode, which I'm sure you're gonna know what's happening, is first off, if you guys support or will support us, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications, follow our social media platforms again across
Please,
YouTube,
please, please.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Mhm.
And I always start an episode off, right? I know it's the first one, but we're always going to start an episode off with a good old fashioned dad joke. Okay. So I had to get a different one because we had an oops in the last one. So
We did, man, because we need an organic
this
joke.
is great. So
Yeah.
this one right here, I'm gonna ask you in the viewers, what's the difference between a piano and a tuna? I hope you don't know
Dude,
this.
I think I know the answer to this one, bro.
No.
Dude, you can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuna? Is that what it
Oh,
is?
you had it close. All right. You can
Did
tune
I?
a
Okay, okay.
piano. Oh, go ahead. Or you want me to
No, no,
say it?
no. I
Oh, okay.
No, say it.
You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Yeah. So
Dude, that's good.
that's
No,
my
I
dad
like it,
joke.
man.
So and
Appropriate.
so we're gonna do episode 2. Maybe I'll
Dude,
do a
I'm ready.
little bit
I'm
of a
ready.
teaser, okay?
A little
So
bit of a teaser. Teaser, what
episode
we
2, you
doing?
guys, is gonna be somebody from this branch right here that is a veteran who lives 5 minutes away from me. And He has been there, done that, got a t-shirt, and is a patriot through and through. Um,
I can't wait,
super excited to have that individual as our first guest
dude.
on our second episode. And he is, we're going to set it up here, and he's going to be in studio here. I say the studio. God, it feels kind of weird saying that. And
It's bougie,
yeah,
bougie. I
so
like it.
we're gonna have it set up in here. He's gonna be here in house, and obviously having Gresham here as well. He's gonna be through the webcam here, and we're gonna have the podcast, and it's just gonna be you know
Excited.
a few dudes in here talking about it, and it's not gonna be about Gresham and I. It's gonna be about him serving his country for the Marines, and he's just gonna talk, get to know him
Get
more.
into
You guys get to know
get
him
into some
more.
of the get
Yeah.
into some values.
Yes,
You
man. It's
know
gonna
what it means to other people to be an American.
I have
Hell yeah,
11 questions typed down. I couldn't sleep, man. I'm like, dude, I gotta think of questions. So yes.
I'm ready.
So yeah, it's gonna be a great one. We're looking to probably shoot between like Thursday and Saturday if we can work that. Um,
Hopefully,
yeah,
one
it's
at some point we can get a schedule down to where
yeah,
we know,
yep,
you know, record days, and you guys can
upload
expect a
everything.
podcast on, and to get to the point where you guys can expect a podcast on a certain day. I'd
Wow.
like to get to that point.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, dude, great conversation with you
yeah.
tonight,
I
bro.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a good time. I hope we didn't bore you guys. Again, this is called Intel Within Podcast. This is myself, Kris, and then of course co-host Gresham. We look forward to the future and doing all these episodes and topics that are going to be unhinged and there's no boundaries. We're going to bring you guys honesty, truth, and it may or may not upset some feelings, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. People need to hear
That's okay.
stuff. So
That's okay.
yeah, we will catch you guys at episode 2. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all have a good
Love you
night.
guys.
Yeah, yeah. See y'all later.